pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Alvarez.
Here.
Councilman Cullen.
Here.
Councilwoman Eckhart is absent. Councilwoman Hudak.
Here.
Supervisor Hay.
Here. Notations exits in the front and the rear. Electronic devices, please put them on vibrate or shut them off. Okay. I make a motion to come out of the executive session. No action was taken.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
First item on the agenda is a public hearing to amend Chapter 126 of the Town Code Taxation, Veterans Exemption, change residences within the same county. So moved to open.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone here to speak to that? Let me explain briefly what that is for the people at home. Currently now, veterans receive exemptions for filing the proper documentation with his or her accessor in each town. If you move from town to town, the exemption in the past stayed with you. Now, if you move from town in the county to another town within the same county, the exemption will follow you. Not the same amount. If you have a $100,000 house and you buy a $200,000 house, your assessment will change, but you don't have to fill out your paperwork. So this is kind of a time of the essence thing. They'd like it before the 1st of March, and that's why we're putting it on tonight, and we'll have to waive the rules to accept it thereafter. But it's a good thing. So the bottom line, if you have a veteran's exemption and you stay within town to town, you could always transfer your exemption from one parcel to the other, your home, your residence, okay? Whether it's a condo or a house. That exemption now will be within, as long as you stay within the same county of your original exemption, you don't have to follow the paperwork. You have to go to your assessor and say, I filed previously with the town of Southeast, I now live in the town of Carmel, and it, saves you a lot of paperwork. It's a good thing. Okay, seeing there's no public comment,
I make a motion to close the public hearing?
all in favor? Aye. Work session. I'm hungry, so let's talk about food trucks.
Not that
Bob,
long.
you've been taking the lead on this, but at this point in time, you basically have everything in front of us. What I want to do is pass these down. I may waive the rules to provide this additional for you this evening.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So, Bob, do you want to read it, or just, should we? You want me to just maybe talk to?
Yeah, I mean,
I'll
we'll make it
I'll
short.
paraphrase. You want to
Yeah.
paraphrase, or
No,
want me to
no,
paraphrase?
go
Okay. We discussed this now for at least 3 meetings. First item is require food trucks that park on private properties that provide sufficient number of parking spaces to a minimum. Traffic control be reviewed by the code enforcement officer in the town. 2, food trucks have to be can't be within 500 feet of a brick and mortar food establishment. The food trucks have to get a permit from the town clerk. They have to go to the health department, and this will all be on the web on Monday morning, be paraphrased and rephrased. Liability insurance will be required, which hadn't been required in the past, $1 million minimum. Annual permits will be awarded by the town of Southeast business and residents from November 1st through November 30th. And then for anyone else thereafter, December 1st to December 31st, so they get a full calendar year to make an application. And no more than 7 permits will be granted. That's a general permit. There is no limit on veterans. The only thing for veterans, the veteran must operate the food truck. So right now, there are certain trucks out there that may have an exemption, but the veteran is not manning that truck. If they have a veteran's exemption, they must man the truck. If not, they just come in and make a normal application like anyone else and pay the fee. Permits will be $500 for a calendar year, $250 after July 1st. Now, the only question I had, Bob, what you wrote, a secondary permit would be available for $100 a month or $20 a day. What would be considered a secondary permit?
If they wanted to operate it on a town facility, like.
Only a town, only a town?
Right. Only town-owned property, right.
Okay. Now,
Such as one of the town parks, Scopino Field maybe, or Lake Teneta.
The one thing you didn't cover here that I'll question now, maybe you can tell us. We heard a few people that want to, in the morning, they want to be here.
Right.
In the afternoon, they want to be there. how do you address that? How are we gonna address that?
Well, as long as they have approval of the property owner to be, you know, at different
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that.
Now, the one thing is, when I contacted the Department of Health today, and I've got their application, which we'll put online as well, so they know what they have to do. Food trucks, the county charges for vending vehicles, $200, and then there's a special section here identifying mobile food vending vehicles. So we're gonna put this on our website as a backup to that. So that identifies then what that is. So a secondary one would be for town property only. And then it says veterans are exempt from any permit fees for operating food trucks, provided it's owner operated, which we just spoke of. And I put an asterisk to that, which I'll put in, I'm gonna redo this and put it on the internet. There's an asterisk, veterans must provide a copy of their DD 214 in order to get an exemption, okay? And in the meantime, they have to provide the same as everybody else. They have to provide
Liability insurance.
liability insurance, proof of insurance, you know, permission from the Department of Health. So everything, the only thing for the veterans to be exempt from the
Is the fee.
fee is they have to provide a copy of their DD 214, and if they use the DD 214, they have to operate the truck. They can't hire a surrogate to run the vehicle. Okay, on the next page, Bob, I'm gonna make a quick change. It says that if a permit holder is found in violation of this local law, here's how I'm changing. I'll just read it. Of this local law, a fee of $100 shall be assessed. Basically what you said before, but I clarified it better. If a permit is revoked, Okay. If a permit is revoked within three times within a calendar year, they will lose their permit for 1 year, based on the way I've interpreted it. So we're gonna clarify that as well. So, it's a $100 fine the first time someone is caught operating without a license, okay? There's 2 fines, the third time they're prohibited from moving forward. That's proper?
Yep.
Okay?
Well, they're prohibited from seeking a
Seeking a
permit
permit.
for a year.
1 year.
For
From,
1
is it a year from the date that they're revoked,
The
or
ne-
the next
the
calendar
next year,
year?
because it's done by calendar year. So if they get it revoked in 2016, they can't apply in 2017, they do it in 2018.
So if they're revoked on December of 2016, they have to wait until January of 18.
Yes,
Got it.
okay. And I guess we're gonna have there's 2 fees set up, basically. Permits will be $500 for a calendar year, and if they come in after July 1st, they're paying $250, which we discussed,
What they-
okay?
yep.
So that's pretty easy. Now, one person did ask about the MTA. There's been some concern about who can park up at the MTA train station, Southeast Station. I contacted the MTA, and they responded back to us that in order to get a permit from the MTA for that station, you must apply to the MTA. And it was told to us in writing that they would probably put it out to RFP. So even though you ask for that permit, you may or may not get it. They'll put it out to an RFP process, and you may get it thereafter. But the town of Southeast will have nothing to do. We maintain the lot, but we have nothing to say about who vends within that lot, and that's how that would work. So, under the regular portion of the meeting, I'm gonna make a motion to waive the rules, and we'll put this on for a public hearing for our next meeting, which I believe is the
10th, March 10th.
March 10th.
March 10th? Yeah, I have it on my March 10th. Okay?
Are you gonna talk about 1A, the?
Okay, yeah,
these
now-
bullet points? or
Yep,
no?
I'm gonna do that next.
Okay.
March, but that's what's coming up. Okay, now, to simplify the process for the average person like myself, okay? We like things simplified. So we're gonna have an application approval process here in the town. This will help the town clerk immensely because she does a lot of marriages. So she doesn't have time for food. But anyway, I put together like an application approval to obtain a food truck permit within the town of Southeast. One, now this is the order in which you do things. You take this piece of paper and you check off what you have to do before you come to the town clerk. So item number 1, you gotta go to the Putnam County Department of Health and fill out a food vending permit, okay? Inside this application, it tells you it's a $200 fee, but there's a separate page where it says mobile food vending vehicles. Now, I did ask them, because I'm concerned about, multiple locations and whatever. They are concerned of where you're washing your hand, where your facilities are, and things of that nature. So, the Department of Health will grant you a permit. But in the end, the town of Southeast is the final say as to where that food truck will be. You will have to identify the Putnam County Department of Health. So if you choose to be in 2 locations, in the morning you want to be here, in the afternoon you want to be over here, you will have to tell and notify the Department of Health those 2 locations. They might say yes to one location and may say to another because you don't have the proper facilities that they're required to have. Most food trucks meet the requirement to have stainless steel. So, one, you go to the Department of Health and get a permit from them. 2, you provide documents from private property owners that have permission to vend on their property. Now, if you want to vend here within the town of Southeast, you would come to the town of Southeast. If you want to go to the Kitty Corner, you go to the Kitty Corner's property, it's not a real name, by the way, get his permission in writing, provide it to the town. We will verify that the person did write that letter. And so you have now Department of Health and permission from a property owner to vend on their property. 3, you then, with those 2 documents, you will go down to the Southeast Building Department, and they will go to the 2 sites, or the 1 site, whatever you're applying for, and scope it out to see if you meet any pedestrian and vehicular traffic violations or whatever. They're going to say yay or nay to the site. I mean, if you're picking a site that's 2 feet off the road and you only have parking for 1 car, it will be denied. However, if you meet all the other regulations that they, and again, it's safety is the concern. If you meet the safety regulations, then you'll get kind of a doctor's note from them that it's okay to move forward. 4th, after you've done 1, 2, and 3, now you're getting all pieces of paper. Then you come to the town clerk. You bring proof of your vehicle registration, prove that it's inspected and insured, and you will provide a copy of your driver's license. And at the same time, there's an asterisk. If you're applying for a veteran's exemption, at that time, you provide your DD 214. With that, you bring a copy of your insurance with $1 million minimum liability, naming the town of Southeast as additional insured, and you're in business. So we'll have this on the webpage beginning probably on Monday, what's proposed. We're going to set the public hearing again for March 10th shortly, and we'll go from there. Any other?
Nope.
Any public comment? Okay, so seeing none, right now, we're just going to move this forward, and I'll discuss it during the regular portion as well, just to set the date for the public hearing. Okay. I make a motion now to go into the regular portion of our meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, waive the reading of the correspondence. Approval of the voucher list for $2,493,118.38. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Setting of the meeting dates. All meetings will be held at 1360 Route 22, Brewster, New York, at 7 p.m. unless otherwise noted. Thursday, March 10th, 2016, and Thursday, March 24th, 2016. So moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll waive the reading of the budget transfers. They are on our website if you'd like to see what they are.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 5, it's a resolution to establish acceptable training for appointed board members. Okay, it's quite a lengthy list, and it's for the board members. I'm not going to read it because it's lengthy. Basically, all of our board members, not this board, but our planning board and zoning board of appeals, are required to take additional training every year. Is it 8 hours? I think it's 8 hours. That they're required to take, and they must show proof of. And what we have here is a list of acceptable areas and classes they can attend to get those credits. So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
This will be on our webpage as well, and all board members will receive this so they know where they have to take the training. There's a
You mean
few-
the resolution?
The resolution. And they'll also have to, there's a few that still have to take the training from last year, and it's not like, you know, if you don't do it this year, well, I'll just do next year. You still have to do your hours for this year and for next year. So most of them are done, and we keep a pretty good control of that. That's a good thing. Okay. Item 6, resolution certiorari preferred equity lock. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Southeast does hereby accept the recommendations of its professional advisors and authorizes the town attorney to execute a stipulation settlement, consent judgment, and order of consent in accordance with recommendations of the following. Petitioner is Preferred Equity Lock, tax ID 46.-3-13, year 2015, assessment $9,437,000, settled assessment $7,500,000, and be further resolved that the town attorney is hereby authorized and directed to execute any and all stipulations, consent orders, and other documents necessary to reflect the foregoing settlement. So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 7, it's a resolution to amend Chapter 126 of the Town Code Taxation, oh wait, sorry.
We have to,
Waive, I make a motion to waive the rules, accept this resolution.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
On the accepting the to accept it, it's aye, okay? Now, the resolution itself. Amend Chapter 126 of the Town Code Taxation Veterans Exemption, change residence within the same county. Now therefore be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Southeast hereby adopts Local Law Number 2 of 2016 pursuant to Municipal Home Rule to amend Chapter 126 of the Town Code Taxation to permit the portability of certain veterans exemptions when a veteran or a qualifying member sells and purchases a residence within Putnam County during a particular tax assessment year. And be further resolved that the town clerk be and hereby is authorized and directed to A, enter said local law in the minutes of this meeting and in the code book of the town of Southeast, and B, give due notice of the adoption of said local law by filing such with the Secretary of State of New York with the time required by law. So move for discussion.
Second.
Discussion. We
Just-
discussed that earlier on. This is,
I was just gonna let everyone know it's time sensitive, it has to be done before March
Yes.
1st, so that's why we're kind of
moving
rushing
along
it through.
tonight.
Yep.
And we waived the rules because normally with public input, which we did have any on that in particular, we wanted to absorb the comment of the public prior to making a decision. All in favor was aye?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, next is a resolution to appoint a special prosecutor, Skolaski, 3 Shady Lane. Now therefore be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Southeast hereby appoints John R. McCarron, Jr., Esquire, having an office at 37 Fair Street, Carmel, New York, 10512, as special counsel, town prosecutor, in connection with the matter of People versus Kathy Skolaski, alleging a violation of penal law, section 240.26, harassment, second degree, and authorizes such special prosecutor to fully investigate such alleged violation, and to commence, recommence, or continue such criminal proceedings as might be necessary to secure full, fair, and equal enforcement of laws in connection therewith. And be further resolved that the special town counsel / prosecutor shall be compensated at a rate of $165 per hour for attorney time, and shall be reimbursed for all necessary disbursements made on behalf of the town. So move for discussion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
And just for the record, our town, we have already one special counsel, but it's in the same area, so we chose not to use that same counsel for this proceeding, and the town attorney had to recuse himself from the same part. So, number 9. Resolution to authorize civil action building and zoning codes TAUB-LIB 1048 Druville Road. Now therefore be resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Southeast hereby authorize the town attorney to commence any and all civil actions in law and in equity in a court of appropriate jurisdiction against Martin, TAUB-LIB, and or any other responsible or necessary party in connection with the ownership, occupancy, maintenance, and control of premises located at 1043 Druville Road, Town of Southeast, seeking to compel compliance with the town zoning, building, and property maintenance codes, and to abate any all nuisances reflecting from the violation of such codes, rules, and regulations. So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Is it 4-8?
It's 10048.
Time out. Okay. Why did I say 3? I need new glasses. Okay.
Well, you have 1048 at the
I-
top and you have 1043
Yeah.
at the bottom.
I got it.
Okay, okay. Who did that? That wasn't me. Don't take responsibility. I'll take full responsibility. Sorry about that. It does say 43. I don't need glasses.
Doesn't have it at the top.
I know. Okay, so we'll make a motion to amend to 1048.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now, let me explain this briefly, why we had to go to outside counsel for this as well, or at least to go out of the court. the court proceeding is one of our justices, his father is next door to that, and the judge recused himself, and basically, one judge in Putnam County knows possibly another judge, so we're taking it out of the hands of everyone. Is that good enough?
Well, it's partially accurate. We're gonna continue the criminal
Right,
proceeding in
right.
another court.
Right. But the reason was, it had to do with one of our justices, and where does it actually go to?
Well, the
Putnam County?
application we made to Putnam County,
Putnam
and then Judge Reitz, or Judge Rooney will assign it to some justice court within the county.
Oh, it would still stay within the county?
Yes.
Okay. That's where it's going. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Number 10, resolution to adopt appeal court decision Sant 29 Tenell Lake Road. Now therefore be resolved that the town special counsel, prosecutor, be and is hereby authorized to make and file an appeal of the Carmel Justice Court decision in matter of People versus Dennis and Kathleen Sant to the appellate term of the Supreme Court for the 9th Judicial District, and be further resolved that all actions heretofore taken by the town attorney in this regard are hereby ratified and confirmed.
Nunc pro tunc.
Thank you. I like that. Okay. So move for discussion.
I'll second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm going to abstain for personal and professional reasons.
Okay, thank you. Number 11, resolution, allow supervisor to sign contract for grant writer Endeavor Municipal Development, Inc. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Southeast hereby accepts the proposal of Endeavor for grant research and writing in accordance with the proposal dated February 5, 2016, and authorizes the town supervisor to execute any and all contracts, memoranda of agreement, or other documents necessary to employ the services of this vendor in a manner and form as may be approved by the town attorney, and be further resolved that this resolution may take effect immediately. So move for discussion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 12, appoint EFPR Group CPAs PLLC as the town outside auditor. I had mentioned earlier on to the public that our longtime outside auditor for the town, Sam Terenzi, passed away in December. And he was a one-man show and basically kept us in good shape for many, many years. And upon his death, we were kind of forced to go out to RFP. We had 4 proposals brought to the town, and we had a committee put together. I was one, Michelle, and the town accountant, Ron Hunn, met, reviewed all the applications. One was pretty much released because it was extremely, extremely high, and 3 others were interviewed, and we believe we've picked the best one. So, now therefore be resolved that the town board hereby awards a contract to EFPR Group, CPAs, PLLC, to provide the audit services to the town for 2016 at a cost not to exceed $23,600, and be further resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized to enter into any and all personal service contracts as may be necessary and appropriate to memorialize this appointment, all in accordance with the specifications and scope of the work set forth in the request for proposed audit services. So moved for discussion.
Second.
Just for brief discussion, this firm happens to be about $1,500 or thereabouts cheaper than our previous auditor. They were not the lowest bidder, okay? This was chosen for various reasons. One, this is not a reason, but these same auditors audit the town of Patterson's, and at one point in time, they also did the county of Putnam. I sat on the board when we brought them into the county, but I'm not going to recuse myself from it because, you know, they passed the muster test, and I'm not recusing myself because I interviewed, but the fact that I've dealt with them in the past, I don't feel it affects my judgment in any way. So, any further discussion?
I'll just say that hopefully that you had good experiences with them, which is a good reason why we're also selecting them. I think your experience with them apparently was good, and that's a good reason.
Yep, in fact, the town of Patterson, and the main decision maker was the town accountant, Ron Hunn, because he will work with them on a day-to-day, month-to-month, year-to-year, And my contact with them will only be really at budget time and only if they have a question about the budget I put forward. And if Ron doesn't answer the question or can provide it, we would contact them. So I don't have much involvement with the outside auditors, thank God.
And this is just for a year or?
No,
going-
it's 1 year with subsequent
Renewable.
4 one-year renewals at our option, of
Right.
course. Okay, if something happens, things aren't filed on time. And another reason we went with this firm too is they pretty much told us they can get the documentation in for the 2015 budget
Orders.
audit cycle of, it's March.
March.
And they were able to meet that. One other said they could possibly do it, and one said they couldn't do it of the 3 that we interviewed.
Yeah, so-
But these came out pretty much on top, and again, I thank Ron for his time and Michelle for their input on this as well. All in favor? Aye. 13, Supervisor's Financial Report. Fortunately for us, it's very early in the year, so we're pretty much on target. Last year's, we'll have the documentation ready probably hopefully by the next meeting, if not the one thereafter. I know our snow budget will be a little bit better this year because we haven't had a lot of snow, we've had a lot of cold weather. But you can see, you saw the vouchers today for salt, tons of them. So we're still buying salt whether we need it or not because it's under contract. We have to purchase it in advance, so you might have a heavy warehouse full of salt, and next year we won't have to buy as much, but you can never tell with the weather, and it may last for another 2 months, you just never know. So right now, it's early in the season, so I can't tell you much about this year thus far. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to waive the rules. I want to put forward a motion to set the public hearing for the food trucks.
Second.
On waiving the rules?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
On the motion itself, I'd like to set the public hearing for March 10th to be advertised for the public hearing for the food trucks.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public comment. Yes, ma'am. Would you come up to the mic, please?
Christine Pacini. I'm just curious about the dollar amount in the contract for the grant writer, what the financial arrangements are.
It's around, well, it's $3,000 a quarter. It's going to be, we're going to sign a contract for $24,000. He's come highly recommended, came actually from the EDC? EDC was recommended by
From
the
Jill.
EDC in Putnam County.
$3,000 a quarter,
We're signing 2 contracts,
okay.
and we can cancel the grant writer within 30 days' notice. I've already spoke to my board and told them I'm going to have to invest a minimum of $12,000 prior to making any decision to see how things are working. Because if you hire a grant writer, it's going to take him, he's going to
Some
interview
time
with
to
us.
see if it's
If
worth it.
it's gonna
or
work.
not. But I'm having trouble computing the numbers then, at 3,000 per quarter, and where's the 24,000 come in?
We have
It's
2
for
contracts.
2
We're-
years.
We have to, we're,
Oh, it's a 2-year
no,
contract for
no.
24,000, it's not
No.
an annual 24,000.
it's $3,000 a quarter,
Mhm.
so it's $12,000 for 1 year.
Okay.
We're signing 2 contracts with them. Because in order to get money for MS4, there's various, the contract covers like MS4, highway and something, and then the other one's for recreation, whatever. So I have to basically sign 2 contracts to get the types of grants that we may need in this town with this person.
Okay, can I ask further clarification then? So those are concurrent 2 contracts for each of them for a year, but they're the same calendar year?
Same calendar, yes.
Okay, thank
Because we
you.
have to apply various ways. In other words, there might be a grant for special districts for water and sewer. He doesn't, for some reason, he doesn't cover, one grant, right? He's the same person, but he wears one hat for one for something else.
Okay, I understand. So the 24,000 is the annual cost, and it's split into 2 contracts, one
12,000 each.
recreation-based at 3,000 every quarter, the other infrastructure or whatever other needs are based, and that's also 3,000 a quarter.
Yes.
Thank you.
And one thing we do is we post all these things on our webpage, so it's, public disclosure, they can read everything that goes
Right,
on.
but so far, all that I saw posted was the resolution that you
Yeah.
are using tonight.
Well, tonight, again,
Right.
we've already seen it, we've had the backup, okay? And we have everything on the internet.
Okay, I was just curious about
Okay,
the
not a
particulars.
problem.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Don't try to steal them from us.
He's listening us as well.
Is he? Okay. He came highly recommended, and basically, he says he gets about 2% of what he writes.
Yes.
So if we're spending $24,000, he better come up with about $1.8 million for this town real quick.
Or you let him know.
That's right.
30 days' notice.
But I have to give him, I told my board I have to give him 6 months.
Yeah.
I mean, I signed up with not a grant writing service, but a web program to, seek grants. Every time we've applied, we got rejected. We're too rich, we're this, that. I mean, we've heard every excuse in the book. But this gentleman, in just speaking to him, I went to interview him upstate one day. He's come down here now on 2 occasions. And just the way he speaks, I know he knows where the money is. So if I have to pay to get it, it's well worth that money if we get it. So we'll let you know how we do. Okay. Now, what are we doing? Do we pass that?
Yeah, we-
No, this is public
Oh,
comment.
yeah,
public
it's
comment.
public comment.
Okay, public comment. Any more? Town board? Okay, I can finally give some good news to this town. I can't tell you, it's been probably 3 decades since the Route 22 corridor from the end of 84, just to a few feet past the entrance to Town Hall. As you know, they fixed the 312 entrance of 312 and 22 a couple of years ago. I think 2 years ago, they did Milltown Road. They paved down to just before the entrance to Town Hall. Well, they're gonna finally pave from the end of Town Hall down to 84. Now, they have a lot more paving to do in this town, but it's been a minimum of 30 years, and every time we've asked why, the same thing, the road's gonna be widened out there, we don't waste our money. Well, I got word today, because I just made a little recording today, I gotta send the governor a letter and say, come on, let's get real, 30 years? Well, they're finally gonna pave it in May of this year, and the only thing I will let you know as time goes on, they're gonna do it at night, and we'll let you know what hour, so you can avoid Route 22 in the evening. So I hope they do it really late at night when there's not a lot of traffic, but I'm telling you right now, don't come by here at 4:30 in the afternoon.
That's
Anyone
good.
else?
I think it's wonderful.
Finally.
Thank
I
God.
mean, Route 22 down going towards the village is horrible too.
Yeah,
near,
well, I'm gonna be calling them and just tell them that there's a lot more that's gotta be done in the town. But this section here
Yes,
is
yeah.
probably the 3rd major traffic area probably the entire, I won't say the county, but definitely in the town of Southeast. Because you got 84, 684, and this Route 22 corridor is just unbelievable as far as traffic.
And it'll make it safer, because
Right.
everyone dodges the potholes.
If you can see them.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else? I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion, we close tonight's meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming.